Spark FM Online. Hello, everybody. Hello. You are now tuned in to Spark FM Online.
Spark FM
Number one for urban and Caribbean music. We are outside. We are inside. We are doing what
people have chosen us to do.
we are the people's choice.
We are doing God's work.
Hello.
Hallelujah.
Yes,
It's an echo.
Echo. Oh no. It's always me.
It was me. Is it gone? Because it was me. Sorry. My bad. Why don't just do that? Why I gotta do that?
What?
Mute my thing every day.
Oh, like it should already be predisposed. That's how I feel on one of my Zoom. I signed in from somewhere, and that thing always got the camera on when I tune in. Do you know what I look like when I get onto a Zoom some of the times? Man, I be having to not go to the meeting on time to go and find me a bonnet or a scarf or something.
You gotta put the tape on the thing.
Oh yeah, but then I gotta remember to take it off. But I just
Your computer doesn't have one of the little slidey things?
no.
I've got one on this computer too. I didn't even know I had that. Look, it's a little slidey thing right here for your.
Good.
Yeah.
I once saw a movie where the little boy was he didn't have that thing covered and somebody hacked his computer and he was doing a little jackanation. And then they took a video of him and threatened that if he didn't do such and such and such, that they would release it. It was a movie. What movie was that?
I don't know.
But it was stupid. The ejaculation. It was such a dumb movie because I'm like, boy, it's just a little masturbation. You gonna go kill somebody because you don't want nobody to know that you was out here handling your business?
Oh, that's weird. He killed people?
I think that he was supposed to go, like there's a treasure hunt. Like you gotta take this thing and send it to this other person. And when you get there, you gotta wrap this around his neck or shoot him in the head or something like that.
Oh, hell.
It was a whole bunch of foolishness. I didn't finish it because it was foolishness.
Sounds foolish to me.
Yes. Greenhouse Malika. What does that mean? When you got a greenhouse?
I feel like it has to do with weed.
I feel it's either some weed or she's a nursery or that's just her last name.
Oh, this is true.
I'm sorry I'm pointing you out, but I always wanted to ask you that. Like, what is the greenhouse part? You got plants.
Toke Tuesdays, Mike Nice.
Take Tues.
Toke.
Oh, Toke Tuesdays.
Yes.
Toke Tuesdays. That's a
Toke.
good one. We have a special guest coming in with us today. Today we got Tanya Fernandez Anderson. She is a city councilor, and she will be joining us today for District 7, I believe. She is the one who makes the most noise in the courthouses and all kinds of stuff. We like her because she is for the people.
Yes, we need people to make noise.
We do need people to make noise. On the ground, fighting for our rights.
That's right.
Our rights to our lives. Yes, quick check-in. Miss Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I found my hair, and I'm so excited.
What is your hair?
This is my hair. I couldn't find it for a long time. I found it in my trunk. Hey!
Wait, what you
It's my hair!
What you find in your trunk?
I couldn't find it. This is my hair, my everyday hair, and I couldn't find it. And I was really, really, y'all noticed that I've been wearing headdress because I was just like, I'm not putting on all these fancy wigs. I need my regular one to wear, and I found it, and I am happy, and life is good.
Just complaining in the car the whole time. Like two old people.
I remember our good friend, what's his name? The guy that cooks. He had posted one time. He was like, I remember when wigs was just for old ladies. And I was like, yeah, that's because we was sleeping. We didn't know. Wigs is the new hat.
It is. Sometimes you don't get to even wear a hat. You just put a wig on, your head is warm.
Yes.
Yes, I like
I
that.
get.
Okay.
You don't got it. You could try it too. If you say you want to get a little.
Somebody said something the other day about how it's out hair and for women to have actions and varieties.
No, men have huge selections of
Somebody
varieties
said
now too.
Jada
though.
Pinkett Smith needs to shut the hell up because she could go she could choose all kind of hair, all kind of whatever, you know. But now when the men do it, now we get judged.
But these days, the men I feel are doing a lot more enhancements
Yeah.
than the women.
Yes,
There is
absolutely.
all kind. There's the beard. The beard thing kills me. It's kind of crazy that you would
lace
attach
front beard?
lace front beards,
Yeah, I
and the
don't-
mustache.
I don't like it.
And then they have a lot of toupees with braid. Are they called toupees or are they called hair pieces?
Hair pieces.
Hair pieces
Yeah.
with braids, and you can do something curly. You could do a little afro, and you can line it up nicely.
No sound.
Tell us, we don't got no sound. You ain't got no sound.
I hear us.
Shoot.
Darnell said, yeah, always nice.
It always nice. It always looking nice.
Thank you, Darnell.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Super Bones.
Some men
Super
be having breeds from GTA. Was that? Some men
Braids.
be having
Braids.
braids. Oh, the braids.
From Grand Theft Auto. See,
Oh,
you got
that's
to
awful.
You got to learn how to read
Tyler
all of
Perry.
the things.
Tyler Perry braids.
Oh, awful.
Them Tyler
Awful.
Perry first batch of things that was happening was not
Yeah,
good.
it was a Shamar Moore and stuff like that.
Ooh, that
That's
was a bad
was
one.
Ugly. Welcome back,
Everybody
Super
saying
Bones.
The sound is very choppy.
Yes, welcome back, Super Bones.
Glad to have you back here today.
Indeed.
We are happy and experiencing technical difficulties, looks so. And get to the bottom of this. Is it? Do we know what it is? We're going to figure it out as we go through. So you guys just kind of try to read between the choppiness. Lines. Oh, maybe there's a caption we can put on so that they can see.
I hear you.
Okay. Sound is like this. Ah. Ah. Is that what it sounds like? Yeah. Oh, good. Because I always wanted to do that. I don't know if it sounds on the radio or if it's just the stream. So a lot of you guys, yes. Yes, what? You can't just say yes. Oh, when I said, is that what it sounds like? Oh. How y'all know that's not just me doing it? How you know it's not me and it's not in your ears are fine? They don't know. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Yesterday, nobody asked, but
No, we always want to know. We do that. Yes, go ahead. Tell us how are
yesterday,
you, Saucy?
I don't know. I've been in and out of a little bit of a funk and a little depression, I believe it is. I've been trying to be have a good front and kind of fake it till I make it. But I've been feeling really down in the El Dumpo. El Dumpo. So yeah, I've just been very snappy and agitated.
PMS? What do you think
It could be PMS too. I had to check. No, literally every time I feel like I have a super attitude, I literally check my period calendar to see if that's what's going on. Yeah.
Maybe you're developing the PMDD too. It happens 2 weeks before your period.
Yeah. Well, when I first found out about it, that's what I had self-diagnosed with. When one of my friends had but I never just kind of looked into it because it's all the same.
Do you get angry? I get angry.
Yeah, but I've been getting angry for it my whole life. Like every time from the time I've had it. Like every time I had PMS, I feel the same way all the time. It wasn't something that developed. It's just how I feel.
No, mine has gotten significantly worse as I've gotten older. And then, but then we're predisposed to anxiety and depression, which is just kind of aggravates. It's all of that. It's all those things together.
So in the meantime, we are going to
Have to take a break.
we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to get our technical difficulties in tune, and then we'll be right back in a few minutes. Act like it never happened. Spark FM Online, #1 for urban and Caribbean music.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
This is SparkFMOnline.com.
JP Morgan Chase is making a global commitment to break down barriers to drive inclusive economic growth all over the world. We believe there is a pressing need to help more people move up the economic ladder. That is why we are investing in communities and people to create an economy that works for all, because no community should be left behind. Right here in Boston, we're focusing that work in Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, among other neighborhoods, on improving financial health. These efforts aim to address the key drivers of the racial wealth divide head-on. We're here to empower individuals, families, and small businesses by connecting them to the tools that build generational wealth and a long-lasting legacy. Chase is investing in Boston. Chase is investing in you. Visit us at the Mattapan branch at 1617 Blue Hill Avenue, where the team is waiting to help.
How healthy is your heart? Believe it or not, half of the country has at least one risk factor for cardiovascular disease. Hi, I'm Senator Liz Miranda from Massachusetts. February is American Heart Month, a perfect time to focus on our overall health and well-being. It is important to know that high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking increase the risk of heart disease. But did you know women, rural Americans, and racial and ethnic groups are also disproportionately impacted? While not all of these factors are controllable, we can take preventable steps to stay healthy. Regular exercise, eating a balanced diet, and not smoking are a good place to start. Make an appointment with your healthcare provider today to assess your risk. If you have heart disease, monitor your blood pressure and keep up with your healthcare visits. For more, visit womeningovernment.org.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
The all-new Spark FM. Spark FM. Come on. Spark FM.
Chick a man be ballin', these chick pigeon toed, some of them be crawlin'.
Spark FM.
Oh gosh, it's me again.
New England's #1 urban Caribbean music. Radio. Spark FM.
All right. Let's try this again. Check baby, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check baby, 1, 2, 3. It's called the Rump Shaker. Sweeten the candy. Come on, shake it. Send it to daddy. Shake it, baby, shake it, don't stop her. Let me see you do the booty hop. Make with your booty hop. And it's top. How's it now? Tell me what you're hearing. Tell me what you already sound. Already sounding better. Okay, 121. I don't know what that means. Oop, maybe not. All right. What do you mean, maybe not? It's not better? The same. Mother. There's too many of you. Right. I mean, right?
Gosh damn it.
I should have been better than that. I'm playing things.
Can everybody not hear us or just Tues?
I think it's just the stream. What are you guys listening on? Just keep the mic close to you. Just keep the mic close to your mouth. It is closed. It's mouth closed. That's where I like to keep it. He said you back like nope. It clips out. I think your views need to stay in the red. We're not anywhere near the red.
What is a VU?
I don't know. Voice allurement.
You can't be talking to us like that. We don't know what that is.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay. There's a lot of things happening.
In between time, I started watching Snowfall.
Oh, yes. Tell me about it.
So it's that show that has Lori Harvey's newest conquest on it. And I started watching it because people told me that I was missing out from watching it. And so I started watching it, and it's not bad. I made it all the way to season 2 now. I've tried to start watching it several times and only made it to like the first two episodes. But now I made it all the way to season 2. And
Did you? I'm there too. That's how I am. Like I started watching it. At one point I got into it and then it kind of just faded.
Yeah.
And then.
But I'm not really watching it.
Yeah.
It's just, playing.
It's a lot of different storylines. Like who's the Mexican? Who's Franklin?
Who's the white guy?
Yeah. Who's the Spanish girl?
The Spanish girl with the wrestler.
Yeah.
It's just too many things. But now I feel like they're starting to come together.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Much better sound.
Wait,
sound.
I'm sorry not to cut y'all off. I see people in the comment section talking. Y'all better stop coming in here touching shite.
Much better.
Y'all better stop coming in here touching ice. Spark FM staff, don't come in here and touch a goddamn thing,
Don't
please.
touch nothing.
Don't touch
nothing.
Don't
If y'all have any questions, let me know. Let Gary know. Don't come and touch nothing, please.
No, he fixed it.
Please. Love y'all, but don't touch nothing.
Yes.
All
right. We ready? We here, but anyhow. So yeah, Snowfall. I can't. I don't know. And then LaWanda just said that season 2 isn't that good. So what do we do now? Because just let it play in the background. Continue.
I've never seen Snowfall.
Really? Yeah.
I think that guy walked by me in Trinidad, and I didn't know who the guy was.
Damson in dress walked by, and said nothing.
I don't watch. I'm not a big fan of the black shows.
Oh my God.
That's racist.
Is it?
Yes.
Quite,
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of or you know what it is? I don't like when everybody else is watching the same thing. Yeah. So then I'll be the person to wait till everybody starts watching it, and then I'll watch it. I still haven't watched The Wire.
I tried very hard to watch The Wire, and I just could not.
No, I binged The Wire. I binged it hard. But I feel like I was so into it just because of Idris Elba.
And did you watch it? Did you watch it around the time?
No. I watched it long after.
See, I couldn't get into it. I just could not get into it.
No. The Wire was good. It was a good show.
Well, that's what everybody says, that The Wire goes down as one of the top series in history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, The Wire is it's on to Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy. When you talk about
I need to watch
binge,
Sons of Anarchy.
Oh God, that was great.
Yeah, I need to get. I feel like I started watching Sons of Anarchy so many times and just never could complete it.
I remember starting. I'm not watching no biker show, but then, bro, when you get into it, yo.
But did you watch the one after with the
No.
What's it called? The Mexicans?
Mm-mm.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Something. I don't know. But now, so right now, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything on Game of Thrones level, because I even tried to watch the Dragon House or whatever, House of Dragons, and I didn't love it.
What's it called?
Y'all watched the new
Breaking Bad,
Fresh Prince? What's it called?
Bel Air.
Yeah,
Bel Air.
I like Bel Air. It's cute. You know what I watched the other night? House Party, the new House Party.
How was that?
Thoughts.
It's really silly.
I don't like when they back in the days it was okay to be silly, but I feel like you could just not have to be so silly now.
Yeah, it's really silly.
It's so I House Party is arguably one of my favorite movies. But the first 3 House Party movies are classics.
How many were there?
There's been about 5, 6 house parties, as far as the original from the original, but the first 3 had Kid and Play in it. After that, they started Kid and Play weren't really in it. It was immature. they had their own, like I think Immature had their own house party. Then there was a house party that came out on MTV that was like a made-for-TV type of house party.
Okay.
But yeah, this was cool. I see what LeBron was trying to do.
What was he trying to do?
He wanted to bring house party and wanted to put it in Cali in modern times and like. Instead, I think they should have brought it a little more relatable, a little more down to earth. And
I mean, I thought it was cute, but then it just got real silly.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, why is that?
And then it's like you could tell that they just had certain celebrities come for one day just so they could shoot a 10-second scene.
Yeah, and that was silly. The 2 Chainz. No, but it wasn't.
Like Lil Wayne walked by.
Yeah, all of that. It was. It got silly, but I thought it was. I thought it was cute at first.
You know what I don't like though, and we were talking about this a little bit in the car. Why is it that we're remaking all of these classics and not just making a new movie? Even if you want to have it as the same theme, when people be like, "Oh, that's just a modern day house party." Why are we calling it house party instead of like, the link up or something like that? Like, just make a different movie.
Right.
With the
also
same
a different show, because you know that they redid the Wonder Years with the all black cast too.
Did they?
Yeah, and I can't every time.
Because what's the point of
why?
that?
Yeah, like why did you do that?
Who wanted that?
I don't know.
And then just make it a different show with onto the same type of thing. Like, why are we changing everything?
Ain't the Wonder Years in black? Everybody hates Chris.
Yes.
Right. So like, what was the point of that? I don't know. But I can't watch that. It's always trying to come up on my Hulu after I finish watching something. I'm like, I can't watch that. But anyhow, thank you guys for sitting through us with our technical difficulties. We will now start the show.
We will. So actually, we will invite our guest in.
I don't see Los up here.
Oh, he's not here yet. So let me see. Hold on 1 second. Get into the first. Weather.
The weather. So this weather outside is frightful. And I got to say that it is, because I don't understand why the weather is doing all kinds of crazy things. Today is Tuesday. It's going to be mostly cloudy, 37 degrees. It's a tad brisk outside. Partly cloudy skies. This morning will become overcast during the afternoon. There's going to be a high of 37 degrees. And with the winds at northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour.
Where do I find the northwest winds? How do I know?
You got to lick your finger and stick it in the air like this. And whichever way that is the way that it's going.
What am I feeling this? What am I feeling here?
I think you feel the
wind.
The coolness.
I feel it all on my whole finger though.
Yes. So that's, which way is it coming from?
I feel like it's on the back of it. So is this the northwest?
I don't think you're feeling any wind in here. But if that's what you're feeling, then it says yes. The winds are blowing northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. That's pretty fast, isn't it? That's strong winds. So be careful out there. Hold on to your wig. I'm going to hold on to mine because it's a good wig.
I do that all the time. Like when I take it, like right now. See, I'm going to hold it on.
Yes.
And then I'm going to take
I was watching Baddies last night. There was a whole lot of, but they had them wigs on with super glue.
What the hell is a Baddies?
It's what is it?
It's on Zeus.
It's Zeus.
Oh, father.
Yeah. I was with my neighbor. She's a Zeus fiend.
There are some. You know what it is? What is your guilty pleasure TV watching? I feel like your medical doctor pimple popper thingies.
Oh, and I'm right now I'm at a deficit because none of those shows are on right now, so I have to watch repeat. But I love all of that gross stuff. I like Dr. Pimple Popper. I like the Toe Bro. I like My Feet Are Killing Me. You know what shows I can't watch? Those people with people who have bad, dirty habits.
Oh, like hoarders and things like
that.
that.
Yeah, I hate hoarders and the people who drink gasoline and all of that stuff.
That's crazy.
I can't do that. And those overweight shows I can't really mess with too much.
Yeah, those because I just be like, why?
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Education, more like the Hotep YouTubes and stuff like that.
Oh, you get into the woke culture.
I go into the
you want to learn your history. I am dating shows.
Yeah,
I can watch a dating show over and over.
What's a dating show?
Like Perfect Match,
The Bachelor,
Island, Love at First Sight.
What
were we watching? Love Island the other day?
Love Island is so good. It's a whole bunch of 20 to 23-year-old children that just like to have a lot of relations with each other and date each other and break each other's hearts on the same show.
Yeah.
And then show up on another game show like The Circle. All of them All of them people from all of those things, they all come together on these dating shows.
That's true, because when I was watching, when you forced me and Mommy to watch Love Island with you that day.
And you watched it.
We did watch it, and we were very into it, and I felt like I wanted to watch more. But when there was a guy on there that was on another show, or a couple
they
of
bring
girls
them
from
all.
other
So
shows.
their careers, those reality show people, careers are in reality show.
I don't trust them.
Yeah.
But you know who is still going hard? That black and white couple from Love at First Sight.
I
first
love them.
season. Me
Whatchamacallit and Whatchamacallit.
Yeah, and they think they just had a baby.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
Let's get into the round the way news.
Okay.
Man tries to open a plane door. He stabs a flight attendant on a LA-Boston flight.
Yeah, with a spoon, right?
With a spoon?
Yeah.
Ow.
It was like a plastic spoon. He broke it and stabbed somebody with it.
Oh, wow.
He tried to stab the captain or something, or the stewardess.
Yeah.
What do they call them? That's what you call them?
No, they're called flight attendants.
That's what you used to call them.
Stewardess.
A man on a plane from Los Angeles to Boston tried to stab a flight attendant in the neck with a broken spoon after trying to open a door in the air. That whole sentence is wrong. All of it is wrong. The incident took place Sunday night, less than an hour before the United Airlines flight landed, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Francisco Severo Torres, a 33-year-old from Leominster, Massachusetts, was tackled by passengers and restrained before the flight landed in Boston. They said Torres appeared in federal court Monday and was held ahead of hearing Tuesday. It wasn't immediately clear if he had an attorney who could speak to his arrest. No one on board flight 2609 was seriously hurt, a United Airlines representative told the news. He was restrained after becoming a security concern by the plane's crew and other customers.
We're live at Logan with team coverage on both of these stories, beginning with NBC 10's Diane Cho on the flight attendant assault. Diane.
Logan, the U.S. Attorney's Office says that authorities arrested a Leominster man last night on a United Airlines flight after they say he tried to stab a flight attendant in the neck.
Her eyelashes
Federal
are great.
prosecutors say that Francisco Torres also tried to open an emergency door on the plane from Los Angeles to Boston about 45 minutes before the plane landed. They say the flight crew first got an alarm in the cockpit that a door had been disarmed. When a flight attendant went to check, they noticed it appeared to have been tampered with. After it was fixed, another flight attendant later reported that he saw Torres near the door earlier. Prosecutors say the flight attendant then told the pilot they believe Torres posed a threat to the aircraft and that the captain needed to land the plane as soon as possible. Torres is then accused of approaching two flight attendants and trying to stab one of them in the neck with a broken metal spoon. Other passengers tackled him before he was eventually restrained.
Disruptive behavior on
the aircraft.
He needs pow pow.
Yeah, he needs to be. And it was how he get a. Oh, because you can bring a spoon on the plane?
No, they give you plastic spoons.
They said a metal spoon. They said a metal spoon. Oh, that's attempted murder.
Oh, yes.
He's got to go.
Lock him up.
I'm making a citizen's arrest.
Citizens arrest him, girl.
That's crazy. Two United plane wings clip at Boston's Logan Airport. It seems like this one.
Yeah, go on.
Wait, no injuries reported after two United Airlines flights make contact at Boston Logan International Airport. And then remember the other day we were talking about the two planes that almost one went up and one went down when they weren't supposed to.
Oh, yes.
This is getting a little bit too frequent.
Yeah.
The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating after two planes made contact with one another at Boston Logan International Airport. Go right ahead. Here's the clip.
Both flights had to get off those planes and find a new flight.
Nick Leon was supposed to be on the 8:30 United flight to Newark.
It's actually my first day of a brand new job, and they're training me at their corporate office. So what a way to start a new career, new job.
We caught up with him as he waited to board a flight with a different airline after his plane got into a fender bender, as he puts it.
There was a jolt, and everybody kind of looked up, like, what's going on? And it was pretty freaky.
An FAA spokesperson said as a tow tug was pushing the plane headed to Newark back from the gate, the right wing hit the tail of another United plane scheduled to take off to Denver shortly after 9. Both flights were canceled. Stephen Cunningham runs a flight training center in Manchester, New Hampshire. He said typically the ground crew communicates any obstacles.
You usually have 2 and perhaps 3 what we call wing walkers, and they're on either wing and one on the tail. And they have these lights or batons that they indicate that it's okay and safe to continue moving in that direction.
This comes after a close call between a small jet that took off from Logan without clearance, crossing the path of a JetBlue plane, which was forced to take evasive action during landing.
So I don't know who's managing what, but I think Logan's not really shining this month.
It's not.
You was gonna go start your new job with all that scruff on your face?
Logan ain't been shining for quite some time.
Yeah.
Since September 11th.
Yeah, see, I feel like Boston is such a catalyst for a lot of different things. September 11th, COVID-19.
Boston be starting a lot of shit.
Boston be out here doing the most.
I want to be starting something.
It's not a full article, but there is a fish consumption advisory. Fish consumption advisories are warning for people when fish or shellfish are unsafe to eat right now in 13 mass states. And parks.
The water, we got toxic water.
What kind of fish is it?
It don't really tell us. It don't really
no,
tell us
we're not
what they
supposed
are.
to be eating none of them fish because the water there's toxics in our water.
We
There's
gotta eat
pollution.
fish.
Hold
Tristan, what about the
You gotta get the farm-raised wild Alaskan salmon.
No,
From Whole
farm
Foods.
raised. Nobody wants
okay, not the
farm-raised.
farm-raised.
Fresh water.
Wild Alaskan.
Yes.
Wild Alaskan.
Wild Alaskan fresh water. Fish.
This is a story here for but the
Because
water.
I want to know what kind of fish. Because my
no
mom.
dirty salt for this my mouth.
My mother sent
Or
for me to
also
buy
called
fish today,
forever
so I need to know
chemicals,
which kind
were
to
found
buy.
in 13 bodies of water across the state. The Department of Public Health has issued advisories after elevated levels of PFAS or also called forever chemicals, were found in 13 bodies of water across the state. Each body of water has its own advisory,
have to worry about none of
ranging
those.
from not eating any fish caught there to limiting consumption of a certain type of a fish. PFAS have been associated with a variety of health issues. It's a man-made chemical used in products and industries worldwide. Levels were not at the point where swimming or recreational activities would be unsafe, but we have a full length of the full list of advisories on our website, cbsboston.com.
I mean, that's terrible.
See, Janet said it. I didn't even have
What'd
to
she
say
say?
it.
I'm Charles.
She said whoever's fishing in Hogan's Pond and eating willing
Don't.
to eat.
Why y'all always gotta bring? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all are so negative in the comment section.
I'm just saying.
I'm tired of y'all. Y'all are
just
gonna
saying.
stop talking about our good freshwater pond. Where we grew up with, and that's the reason why most of y'all are still alive now, because of the water you consumed over at Holton's Pond.
I don't think so.
It is. Your immune system is Teflon tough.
We was able to get the to fight it off.
Yeah, the antibodies that you need. That's where you expose your children to all of the things in the beginning. That way that when they grow up, they're already immune to those things. So y'all gotta have some respect for Houghton's Pond.
That's why the white people let their children crawl around the floors at the malls and things.
And eat they dog food.
They do.
Some of them. Allegedly.
I
Boston
heard.
middle school student hospitalized after eating what may have been marijuana edibles. A Boston middle school student was hospitalized Monday after the student and several others ate what may have been marijuana edibles.
It wasn't may have been. They ate them on purpose.
Exactly. Boston police spokesperson John Boyle said the police were called to the Maurice J. Tobin K-9 school in Roxbury at 12:08 p.m. Damn, they got started early for a report that several students had eaten chocolate bars infused with marijuana. You want to know how I know that they knew? Because ain't no children just eating random chocolate bars at school. They eat Kit Kats.
Yep.
Police determined from their initial investigation that the chocolate may have contained marijuana. The students were evaluated by the school nurse, and one student became ill. The student was taken to a local hospital for treatment, and the other students were released to their parents. In a letter to the Tobin school, blah, 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 we don't tolerate, we don't tolerate, we don't tolerate, we don't tolerate.
That
We are
student that got sick after eating the edible was me.
We are deeply concerned about the recent reports of students ingesting edibles. We are encouraging parents, guardians, and caregivers to take an active role in helping us ensure your students are aware of the risks associated with consuming these products and that they understand the potential consequences, including the potential for serious health issues. Boyle said police are still investigating the incident, and we will keep you posted. Again, the children are not stupid.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yep.
They got a chocolate bar that they found in mommy's cupboard. They took it to school.
Yeah.
After that, they ate it. Some people could tolerate more than the others. The last one that ate it, he probably tried to prove a point and show that he was better than everybody else and decided that he wanted to have a little bit more. And then that's what happened. The other day, I had a gummy, and all I could afford to eat on my own was the head and a half an arm of the gummy. Because I knew that that's how much I needed. And that kept me going for the day. For the day.
No.
Yes.
I can't.
That's because you don't know your limit.
I don't.
And you gotta eat responsibly.
Tony, you could probably do about 20 milligrams.
What's that? That sounds like a lot.
She could probably do like 10.
4 pieces of candy from Yamba.
No, I can't do that. I can do 1.
Yeah.
One?
She can do 1.
1 is 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I had 100 milligram gummy.
Why?
Our good old friend.
Oh, no.
He donated to me. We were, having a nightcap. You guys go see my good friend Grasshopper. Yes.
Oh, no. Those, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But he has amazing cupcakes.
Yes. And Rice Krispie treats is very wonderful. Very wonderful. He's a gift.
Big up Mad
Yes. We've got to invite him on. I'll let you guys know. We'll have a show research.
He was here before, right? He brought stuff for us here.
He brought stuff, but he wasn't here, I don't believe.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Suffolk County Sheriff Steve Tompkins agrees to pay fine for violating personal conflict of interest law for the second time. So the first time he hired his niece to work for him, and this was, I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of Sheriff Tompkins, but I do feel like there's always a double standard when it comes to these things, because I feel like our white counterparts do this all the time. What is it called? Nepotism or something like that? Hello. I'm going to put my family in position to win, especially if they come in and help me. Exactly. Obviously. So I guess in 2015, I was reading it yesterday, 2015 or 16, after the passing of his wife, he had 2 young kids, and he hired his niece to come. His niece came to help him raise the kids, and in that term, because she needed a job, he made up a position for her to have a job in his department.
Okay.
It was moderately priced. It was like $45,000 a year. And she helped him, watch the kids and, pick up the kids or whatever. And he gave her a job. I don't personally see anything wrong with this. Maybe it's a law and you can't do it, so that is wrong. But personally, I feel like our white counterparts do this all the time, and they're not in the news.
No, and they're called Nepo babies. And that's a new thing that's like a new rage or craze or whatever that's happening. And a lot of people heck yeah.
I'm going to hire my family before I hire somebody else.
Listen.
I mean, they don't ever do no damn work, but
wait a minute. Tristan does a lot of work.
And then I guess he got in trouble again because he was fined $12,300, a civil penalty, according to the Massachusetts Ethics Commission. And then in 2014, I guess he was having his staff run personal errands for him, like going to pick the kids up from school early or something like that.
So what, are they just looking for something to...
I mean, that's what it sounded like to me. Again, if it's a rule, if it's a law, he broke it, he has to pay the fine. I don't feel like there should have been a whole write-up for him about hiring his niece and paying her for doing the job that she was doing. She was actually doing a job and also to help him take care of his kids.
Yeah.
Yes. But, the comment sections are going to demonize him, and that's what they're going to do. But anyways, leading into that, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to set up to speak to the community. City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson is in the building to talk to us about what is going on in the city. She is of District 7, and she will tell us what all of that means. We'll also be joined by Mr. Carlos Henriquez. This is Super Tuesdays, and it is time to get civically engaged.
Yeah!
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and it's time to get into your community. Bye-bye.
Bye.
In the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
all-new Spark FM. Spark FM. Log on to sparkfmonline.com.
Yamba Market. Visit the first Black-owned dispensary in Cambridge. Yamba Market's mission is to participate authentically in building a socially restorative adult cannabis market in Massachusetts and beyond. Their commitment to the Yamba family is to provide an inclusive and exemplary experience focused on a broad selection of unique strains, quality products, and customer journey. Open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. 580 Mass Avenue, Central Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Registration at yambamarket.com.
Finally Home is a must-read, step-by-step guide that will equip any first-time home buyer with the knowledge they need to confidently make informed decisions. This book provides answers in simple and clear terms to most, if not all, of the questions you may have about credit, home ownership, and generational wealth. Finally Home equips the reader with the confidence to be engaged with the home buying process without feeling vulnerable or exploited. Tailor-made Real Estate Easy is not just a catchy hashtag. It is real estate agent and radio personality Taylor Andre's goal. A goal to simplify one of the most challenging processes you will go through as an adult. A goal to educate you properly on credit and teach you the strategies to finding the home of your dream. It is not just a good book or an easy read. It is the secret to a seamless home buying experience.
JP Morgan Chase is making a global commitment to break down barriers to drive inclusive economic growth all over the world. We believe there is a pressing need to help more people move up the economic ladder. That is why we are investing in communities and people to create an economy that works for all, because no community should be left behind. Right here in Boston, we're focusing that work in Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, among other neighborhoods, on improving financial health. These efforts aim to address the key drivers of the racial wealth divide head-on. We're here to empower individuals, families, and small businesses by connecting them to the tools that build generational wealth and a long-lasting legacy. Chase is investing in Boston. Chase is investing in you. Visit us at the Mattapan branch at 1617 Blue Hill Avenue, where the team is waiting to help.
The all-new Spark FM. Spark FM.
Come on.
Spark FM.
Yo, sugar man be ballin'. These chicks pigeon toed. Some of them be crawling.
Spark FM.
Oh gosh, it's me again.
New England's #1 urban Caribbean music. Radio. Spark FM.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Tues.
I'm gonna take my time. Wow. She gonna get hers before I. This is a good song. First time I heard this song, I was like, good Lord. Spark FM Online, #1 for urban and Caribbean music. It is Saucy and Friends, and it's time for us to get civically engaged. This is where we get engaged with ourselves. We learn about our community. And we have a very special guest with us today. Welcome, Tanya. Do you prefer Counselor Fernandez Anderson? What do you prefer?
Tanya's good.
Tanya's good. See, I always, because I know so many of you guys personally, that I'd be like, hello, Counselor. It's weird, I feel, in my heart. It's my friend.
I know. We feel like when we play the commercial with Liz and she's like, I'm Senator Liz Miranda. It's like, she's a whole senator.
Liz, is that you?
Yeah, that's you, Liz.
I just seen you yesterday. So welcome. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. How's it been? How has your journey been so far? Since you entered into the lion's
political
den.
realm.
We've spoken about you a lot here.
Oh wow.
Yes.
You are one of our favorite good troublers.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we appreciate the work that you're doing out here in the community for the people. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are. Talk to the people.
Yeah,
I'm, let's see, a mom, mostly human service background, advocate, a lot of mental health advocacy, theater background, artist.
Theater.
Yeah, I got into politics. I still believe that this is one of the best ways of making change. So when the opportunity opened up, here I am.
But why? Like, why? Politics is such a. It's so much. It's so emotional. Let me put it that way. It's so emotional. I feel not emotional, but I don't even know how to describe it. Like, why? What made you decide to get into politics? Like,
for me, honestly, it wasn't too like philosophical. It's more like an opportunity opens up and it's a huge challenge. Then you just jump in.
Yeah.
You don't question. Do I jump? Do I jump? Do I jump? You just do it. I honestly feel like that's what happened with me.
And was this the first time that you've ever ventured into this, like into politics on this level?
I didn't know anything about politics or legislative or.
But you came in hot and heavy, literally, like your first time running.
Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
Like we saw you along the campaign trail and doing your thing.
Yeah.
And you were like almost instantly a very crowd favorite. Like
I'm a
took to you.
African-born woman who grew up in the projects, who had to survive a lot. Therefore, I'm brilliant. No, I'm kidding.
That's right. That's right.
Say that.
Yeah.
Say that. So, District 7.
Yep.
Where is District 7?
District 7, if you put your arms around American Legion Highway and you're facing north, and you come all the way, your arms are on Blue Hill and around Walnut, and then you're going all the way down to West Newton Street in South End.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
It's big.
Yeah.
That is big.
Yes.
So that's parts of Roxbury, Dorchester, and the South End.
And a tiny bit of Fenway.
And
in Fenway.
Wow.
Oh, you've got a very diverse crowd there.
Extremely.
Yeah. What's that like?
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, it's an opportunity to desegregate and make trouble. It's amazing.
This is a new district, right? Is this one of the new?
No, redistricting came out after, but we'll talk about that too. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you've got a big district. In that district, what would you say are the top 3 to 5 issues that we have in those districts?
Economic mobility, housing, and small business, and definitely fighting displacement all around. So climate is a big issue as well. Education, that's about 5, but yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah, so climate, education, housing.
Top 1, I would say housing.
Housing.
But all perpetuated by systemic racism. It's our crime is perpetuated by racism.
Yeah.
Our climate injustice perpetuated by systemic racism. So we have a lot of issues, and hopefully we can begin to fight some of this displacement. But when I talk about commercial climate and housing displacement, they all go hand in hand. It's a vicious ecosystem that perpetuates itself and displaces people, and obviously in the end, you concentrate poverty in a place, and then you don't invest in their social determinants of health, and then you have crime and poverty and so forth.
Yeah, definitely.
And where do you in which part of your district do you see the most of that? Obviously in the blacker
where I live.
Yeah.
H block.
The H block. Oh yeah, H block, definitely. Yeah. That's Humboldt and all those streets with the H that are off of Humboldt.
I often wonder when people talk about housing, I see so much housing complexes and stuff coming up, and everybody's building, and every piece of land that they're building. Are those not? I know that some of them, like 2% of them, be for low income housing, but how come we still have such a housing issue when we have all these developments and housing coming up? Are those for people that are coming into Boston and not necessarily for the people who live here already that need a house?
A lot of things. When you look at housing and how we're getting displaced, it's not just looking at D7 or Roxbury or where you are. You want to look at the whole map. The domino effect of what's perpetuating all this displacement is all of this uber rich, condos that are being built in the Back Bay and the South End and all these other areas too, especially the seaport, right? So like South Boston is perpetuating. So you have to look at the whole map and say, okay, it's not just, oh my God, they're coming for Roxbury. No, they've been coming for all of us.
Yeah.
It's all over Boston. And HUD prevents us from building or from prioritizing like local residents. So when you're building and you're saying, oh, there's this one third rule when you're building property or developing affordable housing, supposedly affordable housing, and it's not affordable. Even their lowest affordable is not deeply affordable. Now now you're creating stupid words like deeply affordable. It actually makes sense. It's like, is it affordable or not? Oh, it's not affordable. So now you have to like compensate it with.
I think when the mayor was here, I kind of asked like, what is defined as affordable, and how are we setting the definition of who's setting the definition of affordable? Because are we talking to the people who can't afford it to tell us what is affordable for them? Are we talking to people who can afford a lot and is like, this seems like affordable?
No, we know who we're talking to. We're not talking to nobody. We're just calculating based on like, you know, federal guidelines for AMI. And it doesn't meet Roxbury, it doesn't meet Dorchester, it doesn't meet anyone. If you make, I mean, you saw the research, right, that came out. If you don't, you got to make about $180,000, $90,000 to own a home. And the average, you know, 2-bedroom is $3,000. Like, come on. Who can afford that? I'm minding my business, working for McDonald's. I got 3 kids. I'm doing good. I'm a good citizen. I should be able to have the right to buy a home. And I can't do that. So the city really has to invest more and look at, you know, in their bonds, borrowing and looking at investing in housing. They want to be fiscally responsible, so I get it, it's a balancing act. But at the same time, you have to be able to really make this, you know, revolutionize this housing thing, not just the one third rule. Which just means that they're looking at like 100% AMI and 110 AMI, and then in the middle somewhere like, you know, 80 to like 70 or 60, and then the 50 AMIs. Well, what about the people at the 30 AMI?
Like where we at?
AMI is average median income, right? You are in District 7. District 7 P3, which we've heard a lot about, is in District 7. How do you feel about the P3, the concept of P3 and what they're trying to do there?
Well, I think like everybody agrees that you know, that we should have had more prospects, like people applying for and, you know, bidding. But now we have like the final. We went through the process, and you know, the IAG committee decided, and at this point, P3 is going to start a community process, asking folks in terms of like community benefits and stuff like that. And I think that it's just for us to like really organize and be able to work with administration and ask the mayor's support, the BPDA, everyone on board to say, look, the community benefits should really go to Roxbury, and that should really be a huge opportunity, hopefully to creating something like our first rent-to-own pilot program in Roxbury.
Is that because we had some representatives from
Denisha, McDonald, and a couple of others.
And the 2 men that came in as well. And they were bidding to get that. And they wanted to do it. They wanted to build like this community that was, like you said, this rent to own type situation. So I don't know if they were the ones who eventually got it. I don't know.
Yeah. That's
they got
it. That's going through. That's
it is going through.
Is that part of Embrace too?
Yeah. What P3 is parcel 3, which is the empty space that's down, what's the name of the street? Columbus Ave and Dudley Street?
Ruggles-ish.
Across the police headquarters.
Yeah.
Across from the police headquarters.
The hell did you come
What's
from?
up, Carlos?
Seriously.
Where is he? Hi, Carlos. Carlos is our co-host for Super Tuesdays. Carlos, Tanya, you guys are here. Hi. You can just jump in whenever you want to. He's usually on. You're supposed to still repping. We sent it to you if you want to jump on over there. Yes, sir.
My fault. I put cocoa butter on my face and everything. I was ready.
So you represent, I think, approximately 60,000 people.
Now maybe? 77.
Oh, damn. How do you communicate with them? Like all these, there's many things that you have going on. You're part of the budgeting. I follow you the most because I'm like, what they putting our money in and stuff like that. And you always are very good with because I'm heavy on social media, you'll put that on there. So you represent approximately 77,000 people. How do you communicate with everybody? Because I feel like that's another thing that we have a big problem with in this community, is that people have this thing where they're always like, we didn't know. I didn't know. How was we supposed to know? Who did they communicate with? How do you communicate with your constituents?
Well, it's important to know that, as a city council or electeds, when we come in, it's important for us to pass the baton and sort of build continuity in our community. When I came into my office for whatever reason, the system of building or constituent database was lost or destroyed, or
I find like that's a lot of things happening in this city.
Destroyed.
Yes.
I don't know. And so I had to build that from scratch. So what I started doing is really going into my resources, the voter list and all this other stuff, and putting it together. But I do a monthly newsletter. I have a brochure, constituent service brochure, that I mail out to folks. That takes time because you got to raise money and then send stuff.
Nice.
I also, of course, emails. We'll do mass emails. We'll do MailChimp. We'll do a newsletter. A quarterly town hall, so in person. Also, I've been able to build a coalition of all civic leaders. So every single Saturday we meet. It's called the District 7 Advisory Council. These are civic leaders in District 7 from all civic associations and groups that comes together with me. So I've dedicated every single Saturday to meet with them and actually talk about policies and driving programs and of course, budget priorities and stuff like that. So I find different ways, but also I'm working with BU. And the students there, I'm really excited. We've been working for about a year now. Each semester, different students. But we're launching in the summer the first District 7 app, and you can become a member.
Really?
Oh, that's awesome.
An app, I want it. Am I part of District 7?
You are.
Oh, good. Yes. I'm like, hold on. Let me check and see if I'm part, because I'm just going to follow anyhow. I'm going to get the app.
It's a digital platform for accountability, following up with 311 inquiries, but also what is your council up to? What are the electeds doing? How are the electeds voting? And why not put the vote report card on the website? If I go to cityofboston.gov.
Thank you, because I'm like, oh, you over here spitting real knowledge.
What am I filing? What the heck am I working on? And who's supporting me and who's not supporting me?
So on to that. What kind of
Transparency.
things are you filing, and what kind of things are at the forefront of your priority list right now?
I mean, we passed the reparations task force.
Yes.
I was the lead sponsor.
Oh, good.
That I passed the apology for Boston.
Yes, for slavery. Wasn't that?
Yes.
Yes. We read about that too.
Enslaving Africans and chattel slavery. And so I filed a digital platform, a hearing order to discuss digital platform for small business. Small business should be able to compete with, like, say, Amazon.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so Be Local does very little. And how do we amplify Be Local to give us a digital platform to compete in the market?
Because Be Local also started off really strong, and then it just disappeared.
Filed the rent to own pilot program. Hopefully, I'm working with Sheila Dillon, Office of Mayor's Office of Housing. She's been really great. We're looking at models from other states that can work here. I'm very, very excited about that one, and hopefully we'll be looking at, again, community benefits to execute. Filed, I filed a lot, and I didn't come with a list. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
So when you say filed, what does that mean?
That means that you basically, write up a policy brief, like your narrative, what you think the problem is, and basically all of a list of the premise of what you think needs to be talked about or dealt with, or the stats. And then at the bottom, you sort of give a proposed resolution. I'm asking for us to have a conversation about this. So a hearing is literally
And, can you talk a little closer to the mic?
Yeah.
Something
pull it closer to you.
A hearing is exactly what it sounds like. You go into the chamber and you hold a conversation on the topic.
Okay.
And then if you're filing for an ordinance, it's basically city law.
Okay.
But if you're filing to amend an ordinance, amend the code, is basically changing it.
Okay.
And then if you're filing for a resolution, you're going on record making a statement, and you can get all the votes, but it really sends out the message to the administration that, the majority of the council wants this or unanimously wants this.
Okay.
That's something that I never knew. If you guys actually work together back there. Because it really does seem like a lot of the times, go ahead, Carlos.
Oh, I was just laughing at that comment. I've been thinking about this last 2 years about how this council works together. So I was just trying to hold in my laughter, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because I see that. I see so many different efforts coming in, and I'm like, and we talk about it here on Super Tuesdays a lot about how things probably could get pushed through faster if there was more people that were like, yeah, we'll stand through this.
Yeah.
Let's get this one through, and then we'll do another one so that we're not all just sitting here waiting for something to happen individually. But I feel like also working together sounds very cliche too. So maybe I could be wrong, and that's just not how things are supposed to go.
Well, there are, there's open meeting laws that we cannot violate. So we can't be somewhere in the back room talking about how you're going to vote on something.
You vote for this one.
But, I think that, for the most part, most of us are, I hate the term progressive because that's an oxymoron, but I do feel that there's a sort of understanding of what your platform is, and what your priorities are, and for the most part, people do vote in the right way. And by people, I mean electeds of color and sometimes our counterparts.
Yeah.
Councilor, I'm going to ask maybe what seems to be a little bit difficult question. I know what it was like for my first time walking in as an elected official. You're running, and then you become elected. You have all these plans, and then you have to actually figure out how to put these plans in motion. Can you talk a little bit, based on what we were just talking about, can you talk a little bit about who you have found to be your allies in this work in terms of those that vote with you on initiatives, those that support the same budget amendments? And can you also speak to who are some of your regular opponents are, whether that includes the mayor's administration or whether that's councilors? Who are kind of the roadblocks to District 7 achieving progress around climate, education, housing that you named earlier?
Definitely. So, Councilor Lujan will always vote in the right way, and I guess the right way is, what we need as people of color and priorities. Councilor Lara, Councilor Ricardo Arroyo, Councilor Julia Mejia, Councilor Brian Worrell, with exceptions to once, Councilor Coletta, Councilor Bach, with exceptions to twice, Councilor Braden, with exceptions to once, and then Councilor Ed Flynn sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. He seems to be how, and I guess it's on to that question too, is that oftentimes it's not you guys just doing the work. You actually need the community to stand by you and to help you kind of raise these awareness. What is it that you guys need the community to be able to do to kind of help you guys get some of these things done? Or is there anything that we can do?
I mean, I think that one of the biggest issues is that the counselors go in and you don't actually, speaking of roadblocks, you don't actually have a budget to spend on the job, you have no resources.
Yeah.
So constituent service, we don't have money to do constituent service. We don't have money for our district. We don't have money to prioritize anything. So all of your resources come from your campaign money. And then as people of color, you know how hard it is to raise money. And as an elected, so then you're spending out of that. And technically, you're supposed to be spending out of that only what's related to civic or anything campaign. And so you try to find creative ways to spend out of your campaign stuff on civic stuff. But then at the same time, the city holds the wallet, right? So the city should be held accountable. The mayor's office, administration, they should be held accountable for constituent service, for your streets not being clean, or for anything not happening. They hold 311. In fact, the politics that goes behind it. So if you disagree in some ways, historically, and I'm not saying this administration, that they would block you. For example, that councilor is doesn't agree with the mayor, blah, blah, blah. It's like an unspoken, we know now to block them.
Fact.
And so when it starts happening in my district, I immediately asked them, let me know if you're just massaging me, if you're going to block me.
Yes.
Let me let me know, because I'm a survivor. So how do I figure it out? Or what are we talking about here? Do you need me? Do I have to agree with you in order for things to happen? And if so, how do I prepare? How do I organize my community? Going back to your point, Saucy, is that basically the community is the power. And politics, I think, in my opinion, historically has worked backwards. They want...
They want
the power to themselves.
Yes.
they want the power to themselves, but the people should have the power.
Yeah.
And so what my advisory council does is that not only am I talking policy and meeting with them, but I'm also empowering them and making them privy to everything that's happening in City Hall.
Yeah.
And so giving them the power, essentially, it's sort of like leading in disguise. They're my backing, so when I need them. But then there's this thing where the administration, the city, this racist city, typically they understand that black people, black and brown people are not organized. We are organized within our own silos, but we're not collectively organized. And they understand that this is not, social capital. And so they respond slower. They meet with you, differently. They meet with you once a year. There's no continuity, and no one is talking to each other to say, this person or that elected or that administration is not meeting with me or is ignoring me or I didn't get what I needed done. And then there's the other, the misinformation and the lack of
communication.
Communication or civic engagement. And so there's no neighborhood services should really be able to start empowering people and getting people on this one platform. I think that the Office of Neighborhood Services is working toward that. But I think historically that's the problem, is that we don't have the information. We're working in silos. We're depraved as is because of a systemic racist system, systemic oppression all around. We are viscerally traumatized. We're traumatized directly. And then when we ask for resources, they act like we're begging. Then they tell us and they blame us. Then they blame the victim and they say, pull yourself by the bootstrap. You're lazy. You don't do nothing. And that's why. And then they walk through our neighborhood, create gentrifying architecture or transportation that only serves other people, that serves the people that are in these nonprofits that don't enrich us, that don't create economic mobility for us. And then when we cry about, transportation because we're poor, because we have to get to our mother or our children or our jobs, we don't have the flexibility to be on bikes just yet. I would love for all of us to be on electric bikes. We can't afford it. There's no program to transition us. So why are you blaming us for us? So you see all of these cyclical issues that we go through, and then when we're depraved, we fight each other. We're so afraid of losing that small token that they give us, of not being patronized, that we don't speak against it. How can you blame us? We are desperate, so we deserve mercy. And so one thing I would say is that we continue to be kind to one another, because we are in the fight together. And it's not a thing of yesterday, it's not a thing of the 60s or the 40s. It's here today. It's just more sophisticated, and it's in politics.
Right.
So
go ahead,
Counselor. With that said, I mean, you definitely. I like what you're saying. You definitely identified, I think, some good places where we need leadership to step in terms of why I asked you the question: who are allies and who are some of our opposition, so that community knows to empower them. I did want to give you what I think is a free piece of game. When you talked about outreach, and I commend you for spending your own campaign dollars to reach out to constituents, because that is sticky. I've always challenged City Hall as well as the State House. I try to use all their Xerox copiers and all their Xerox paper I can. So if you're doing a list of city phone numbers to call in your office, you should be able to print out as many of those on City Hall paper and copiers and distribute those as long as they don't have a campaign message through our community.
I did. The problem is they limit you. So they actually limit you to only mail out 1,800 pamphlets. So that's what I've done.
That's crazy, because you just said.
Drop the rest of them?
So what I'm doing, and Rep, I like the way you think. Immediately I said, oh, well then we need our own budget. New York does it.
Yep.
Each counselor has a budget for their district for these things. So I'm filing.
Because like you said,
nice.
77,000 constituents and you could only send out 1,500. That don't make no sense.
1,800.
Yeah, 1,800. That doesn't. The math
And
ain't math.
they cap you, and that's it.
Really?
Yes.
So a decimal of my constituents can get the information. The rest of y'all,
1%.
Right.
Is it even one? The rest of y'all on your own.
22,000 addresses on my list.
Wow.
And I was only able to send 1,800.
That's crazy.
22,000 and 1,800.
Yes.
So, but look at how they
1%,
look at how
literally
they exacerbate us. On weekends, on Sundays, anyone is free to go with me. I promised my people that I would go back to the doors. That they wouldn't just see me in campaign season. So every Sunday, I'm at the door with my little constituent service pamphlet. You know, there's a QR code you can scan, you can see all the deliverables. By the way, being chair was it means, right? Like I delivered a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But how do I talk to you? How do you know? How do you know what I'm working on?
You don't do coffee hours?
Right.
I do every Friday.
Okay.
So think about it. There is no day off.
Yeah.
There is no. I don't know how people go to vacations. I don't understand. I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't get
That's
it.
interesting that you do that.
But
You better learn it. You better learn it.
I know.
Take some time.
But that's what Saucy and I were what we were all talking about the other day. Like we can't do politics. You got to be everywhere all the time. Show up for everything. Nah. I don't want that.
But onto that, you are of a certain religion.
Yeah.
And you're a black woman.
Yeah.
And you are working in a very diverse district.
Yeah.
We've even played some videos of, voicemails and things that you received.
Yeah.
We hear about the racism in Boston a lot. And for some of us, we know about it, we hear about it, but we never actually have, been face to face or experienced it to this level. What are some of the things that you deal with, both as a religious person, as a black person, as a woman person? Like how is this working for you?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the YouTube. I forgot the name of the station. The guy who's like, "Oh, Councilor Anderson, but are you really surprised? Why is she acting surprised?" And it's like, no, I'm not surprised. And my rage was tactful and was intentional, and I knew exactly what I was doing. And in terms of, looking at these things, like I get even magazine cutouts. I get people gluing like magazines.
Really?
Yeah.
People have that much time on their hand in 2020?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they only did that in movies.
Me either. Me too.
Oh yeah. Death threats, all of that.
No.
Oh yeah.
Really?
So,
like actual I wish you were dead?
Yeah.
You know those people like.
I just feel like the cutouts and the stuff that makes it like that's interesting to
But
me.
I get it from all fronts. To your point, I get it from Jesus is Lord.
Yeah.
Like your religion is false.
Yeah.
I get the anti-black stuff. I get the xenophobia stuff. You're a damn immigrant. You just became a citizen.
Yeah.
What took you so long?
Oh.
So I get all of. I get it from all points. So look, I'm short.
What do you do?
Like look. I'm short. I got nappy hair. Like I'm black. I got all like I'm like I got. Thank God for melanin. Like
you wear glasses.
I wear glasses. Like, I got hips. I got yams. If somebody's like, "Councilor Anderson got yams," I don't care if she's screaming. I don't care. I don't care about what these people have to say. I went to South Boston and a whole bunch of like over 200-300 people in there, mostly white. And one woman got up and pointed at me and she started saying like, "Yo, yeah, you," in front of everyone. Everyone's quiet, just waiting for her to talk. She goes, "You're racist. You hate white people." I was like, "Sit down and be quiet, lady." And she's like, you know what I mean? Like, I should have went Muhammad Ali on her. You my poser. You my enemy.
Colonizer.
I don't know what to do with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are obviously ignorant, and ignorant is not evil. It's ignorant.
Right.
And so, whatever.
Yeah.
And how do those views, especially religion, how do they come into place when you're leading?
Yeah.
Because I know that liquor laws and stuff like that and whatever. How does that come into play?
Yeah, man, I just be singing that song like "Drink water in my mind." I don't necessarily like. Look, be a good person, and your relationship with your Lord is your relationship with your Lord. Ain't got nothing to do. Don't try to Don't try to put it on
church and state.
Yeah.
Don't try to project your views. Don't try to reflect your insecurities. Like, just relax. Like, be a good person. Let people live and love everyone. Whatever I believe, that's for me and my practice.
Right.
You like edibles. I think when I retire, I might try it one day. Like, who cares?
What's been some of your? Go ahead.
Council, where the rubber meets the road on that one. So I'm going to push back a little bit.
Yeah.
The push, and I do agree with you. I do think people should be able to practice whatever beliefs that they want, as long as it's not harming anybody else. And church and state should have a separation. But we're humans, and sometimes things get crossed. So around I know then Councilor Ayanna Pressley pushed for more liquor licenses in Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan. I know previously there was a push last year to get some located in Nubian Square. And there were reports of you being against more liquor licenses in Roxbury due to your religious beliefs. Is that accurate? Is that where kind of they come into cross where church does meet state in those aspects?
That's not accurate. I thought it would be disingenuous for me to present it. So when they approached, I was supposed to present it. So I gave it to, I asked my counselor colleague to present it instead. I support it, and I understand economic development, and especially with arts and entertainment. I understand that there's only what are we at? Like 6 full liquor licenses, black owned in Boston, out of like 150, 1,500 all throughout Boston. Like, it's ridiculous. So no, I would support people getting arts entertainment. I come from, the arts and all of the spaces that I built out. I personally would not drink, and I personally would not be, saying, telling anyone that they should drink. But if you want to get a liquor license, I'm happy to support you. I didn't oppose it, and I do not stand up to try to prevent anyone from getting it.
And along those lines,
Thank you for that clarification.
Absolutely. I know where that came from, because I did make a statement. Me personally, I think my comms person wrote something really funny, something on the spirits, and I thought it was supposed to be sarcastic, but I don't partake in the spirits, and I was like, what is this? But I read it anyway, and I think that, here's the thing, we have to have those spaces. We have to have spaces where Black and brown people can decompress and alleviate their stressors. We don't have that. We don't have enough of that. How we do it creatively in moderation, I think, is the question.
Yeah. What are the, go ahead. I heard you.
Oh, no, I was just nodding.
But by moderation, I mean no more liquor stores.
I don't feel like that's one thing that I can agree. I don't think we need any more of those, because there's literally one on every corner.
Oh, we need everything. We need a salsa club. We need, jazz. We need.
But that's what our new
somebody corrected me the other day about, the young, I guess, trap music, whatever. I don't care. Clubs, dance, studio, arts, entertainment, over and over and over and over. I will support that. But I don't like the idea of all these liquor stores everywhere.
So I was going to ask.
The numbers you were rolling off earlier were about, we have liquor stores, but we don't have liquor licenses that are in sit-down restaurants. So thank you for that clarity.
That's true.
Yeah, because, get drunk. If you're not socializing, you know what that turns into. It's not. It's more of depressive drinking, and I'm not judging anyone. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm just saying that they understand that this, we need diverse commercial districts or business corridors, and we don't have that.
We don't.
All we have is McDonald's. What else we got?
Thank you for saying that, because I live in Mattapan. I've lived in Mattapan my whole life, and when I'm hungry, there's nothing but junk food around. I can't find a decent salad anywhere except for Juice Up on Blue Hill Ave. Other than that, there's I have to go to
shout out to Juice Up.
I have to go to JP. I have to go to somewhere, Milton, Braintree, somewhere where I'm not
you
Braintree.
You can sit down in a restaurant.
I have to go outside I have to go outside of Mattapan to find good food.
Why isn't there a Uno's or just something to sit down and go to?
Yeah.
But I feel
why can't the city?
Yeah.
Why can't we invest more money in mom and pop shops that's doing soul food, even if it's that tiny little restaurant that we can barely sit in? Why can't we help them own their own place? And expand?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
You guys do a lot of events. You guys go to every event ever. What's been some of your favorite events that you have gone to that I feel I'm going to switch to be more impactful? Because I know you guys have to do a lot of breakfasts, a lot of bagels and bites and all kinds of things. What is some of the most fun events that you have gone to?
I like the the Black Veterans one for Veterans Day. We did it at the Gordine Park. I really enjoy that. My son is a Marine.
Oh wow!
Yeah, hoorah!
How old is
he? I'm extremely proud of him. He's 24.
Really?
And
any children?
I was about to say, oh, he's grown. How you doing?
I'm 44.
You're a baby. I remember when I was 44.
Sit down.
She's like 40, 45. Stop it.
I ain't even turned 40 yet.
She ain't even 40 yet.
In my brain, I'm about 80 years old.
She thinks she's my age. She thinks she's my big sister.
Y'all are my children.
Anyway,
youth
events. The Caribbean Carnival, I think, when we talk about the Caribbean Carnival, like it's sort of died down a little bit. It's not really bringing out, like, it doesn't have a lot of activities for younger people. I would like it to be more inclusive of younger generation.
Y'all know I'm triggered, right?
Just so you know, I was a member of the Council's District 7 Advisory Committee. She's so committed to Carnival that she put out a notice earlier that week, like the meeting is being moved up because once the floats hit the road, I got to be out on the road.
Yeah.
So we were off that meeting by 11 a.m. We were done with that.
But see, this is the kind of things is that I feel when we talk about community and what the community wants, I'm a little bit I don't know the word. I'm a little bit annoyed. Okay. I'm a little bit annoyed with the city and how they have been handling the situation that we have here, because I think everybody knows from data and facts that the carnival has diminished in size and visibility, in revenue, in relationships. For the last maybe 12 to 15 years, it has been declining. And as we are pushing for change within the carnival, I seem to be getting a lot of opposition about, relationships, and maybe that's something else, relationships versus what the community actually wants. And then you brought up a good point, is that although that there's a lot of us, I don't think that we're good with mobilizing and really kind of getting in front of the situation and showing them that we have numbers and we have strength and that we will be heard. Because from what I heard from everybody sees the problem, they know the problem, but they're not going to move on the problem because their relationships that they make within the city are more important than what the community is actually saying.
This is what I'm talking about, tokenism. That we have, people standing up and saying the most diverse this, and look at all these black people and brown people that we're hiring. And then when you look at the people that are being hired, are they in the decision-making power? Yeah. And then those who are in decision-making power, we see a couple of them quitting, right, leaving. And then when you ask for attention on a thing like the Caribbean Carnival, then you don't get respected. And this is what I'm talking about, building social capital and organizing. If we can't bind ourselves with each other and move forward and hold administration accountable and say, we need more investments. We don't need just, a couple million in black male advancement. We don't need just, $1.6 in Office of Returning Citizens. We don't need just, 300,000 now up to $1 million in LGBTQ. We need real investment. Yes. And that means that you are building our workforce development and that you're looking at truly affordable and you're prioritizing local residents in Boston. Yeah. And you're looking at programs that actually return black people that have been displacement back to Boston. Yeah. I think that is truly intentional policy, and these failed blanket policies that people just sort of go on their soapbox and talk about, I don't necessarily, I know that they're not, all the way there, and your intentions can be as pure as they can be, but if your actions don't match that, then what does that say about your character?
That's what it is right there. Yeah. And I think that a big part of that is that leadership, when we're talking about, being equitable and having representation, we need leaders that are willing to go against the grain and go against what has usually or typically happened. That's one of the things that I respect about you, is that in the struggle to redefine Boston Carnival, from the beginning, when we approached you about it, you were like, oh, child, what I gotta do? What you need me? What about you need? Time. Advisory, what you need? I was sitting in a meeting, blah, blah, blah. And we would hear back from you. And I think that we've approached almost every counselor. And for the most part, between you and maybe Councilor Worrell, when we've gotten some, we from you, it's more of an aggressive support. From others, it's more of a, let's have a meeting, let's talk about it, and we'll talk about it again in 4 months again. Oh no, we haven't heard back, so we'll just forget about it. And I think that we just need people that are willing to, not sit on the fence, but actually, get on a side, what the other side you was, because something else you said, like, I just need to know where I need to go. If you're going to oppose me, oppose me. If you're going to support me, support me. But I need to know something so I know how to pivot and how I need to move around.
Or if you're doing nothing but sitting on the fence, get out the way.
Exactly. Stop wasting the time. Go ahead, Carlos.
So here's a hot button question around that, right? So we talked about economic development just came up, and we're talking about that community voice. So, Council, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Well, I doubt it's a hot seat for you. One, we had the former chair of economic development was John Barrows. There was some very little movement in terms of building that infrastructure that you spoke about for people of color and businesses of color. We now have Shagun Idowu, also who's his successor, also the chief of the department, which doesn't necessarily mean he has ultimate say, right? It can still fall in the mayor's hands of Michelle Wu. So my two-part question, I guess, is one, have you seen any good progress with this administration, with the Wu administration and under Shagun's leadership in economic development? And two was, how do we talk about the leadership gap and the voice not being there and people being okay with tokenism. How do we get the elected leaders of color to be on the front line of that voice together, right? Ooh, so if the community is siloed, how do elected leaders break those silos by doing more work together in front of the community, like the joint community meetings? I know there's open meeting law you referred to. There's only so many councilors can be in the same room at the same time, but press conferences, joint statements sent out to the media, into the newspapers. How do we get more of that leadership from the elected to help break down those silos rather than just leave it as a responsibility of the community?
Great question.
I think I'll answer in three parts. First, with Office of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, I think that there have been some strides there, but I think that Chief Idowu is a leader who thinks strategically. So the changes that are happening are more on the inside, and so in terms of policy, in terms of looking at main streets, how to restructure that in a way that's actually truly impactful for our communities. But also, when you look at sustainability, future sustainability for small businesses, I see him moving a lot of pieces and a lot of, it takes a lot of meetings and conversations and policy encouraging to get these things in place. So I'm privy to those things that I can't necessarily announce just yet. And I know that he's working hard. I'm a believer for now. And I think that
and know if you're not, we'll hear it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
I definitely think he is for us, without a doubt. I know that he is also very diplomatic, and so in how his presentation is diplomatic, but he is fighting hard.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that. And I hope to soon be able to announce like some of those things with you.
Yeah.
And then the other part is, Carlos, like, like, for example, historically, what's happened to people that don't compromise their moral compass, such as Rep. Carlos Enriquez, like something that, what they did to you and what has historically happened to many different people. Look at Ricardo Arroyo and what happened with him.
Yeah.
And then we can go on the list, like, look at Malcolm, look at everybody else. And so I think that, I do this knowing that it could be limited, knowing that it could be, a short-lived, hopefully not my life or my children's, may God protect them. But I think that I walk into this space not as just a radical without a plan, but hopefully masterfully strategizing to be impactful.
Long term.
And there's so much more for me to update you on my work. But I think that in terms of the administration and decision making, or with the politicians, the electeds, the way that I say to people all the time is, when you have a thing happening, you have to treat it like it's a digital campaign. You have to put people on blast immediately.
Yeah.
And you have to do it gently.
Yep.
Right? You have to say, we are going to speak with Counselor boom, 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 list all 13 of us. And then you're going to check mark and you're going to update people on social media and your radio stations and the TV and everybody how they are proceeding.
Yeah.
We've met with these people, These people answered, these people didn't. We had the conversations, and this is what they said, and this is how they will vote. and then you publicize that. I think there needs to be one platform that we do that.
Oh, I like that.
I love it. I was writing vigorously.
Right. If I could speak on the boss's behalf, Ms. Hot Sauce, I think at least on Tuesdays, even if you can't make it, Counselor, we would love if we could get a written report or something you wanted us to read out and report to the community.
Absolutely.
I think we'd be happy to do that at least once a week if we could do that on our business.
I want you
Thank you
guys
so
to
much.
utilize the station to get information out to people. We have a very, very large audience, and we were built for, you know, to be a resource, not only as a radio station with great music and programming, by the way, but as, you know, as a resourceful platform that you guys can use to get that out. So I'm on the newsletter, and anything that we see your name in, we usually just kind of, you know, pop it into our stories or whatever. And just in the sake of time, I'm going to wrap it up. But yes, I'd like that idea. Keeping a list of what is said, who is saying it, where they stand, and publicizing it, because I do think that there's a lot of respectability. What is the word?
May I say one
Yes.
more thing? I think that, you know how I have the advisory council? I think every district should have one.
Yeah.
And I think that the advisory councils should have a way of like selecting people, but it's led by the people.
Yes.
And it's and you select people according to reflecting the demographics of the district.
Yes.
And then what you do is you have a whole sort of board or committee or coalition of different leaders that come together to guide policy within that community. And I think that that's missing, especially in Black and brown communities.
Yeah. We just had
Community organizing 101.
What was the advisor, the other young lady we had on the show? She's
Consult Layla?
Yes, Consult Layla. Yeah, I think that would definitely bridge the gap between the parts that we can't get to, the entities that we can't reach out to, but bridging the gap, having that would be really dope.
Imagine a place that everyone had access to adding, like a blog, to adding their experience.
Yeah.
And if every time you don't hear from a counselor or the mayor or anybody, or you get ignored, you get postponed, or the response is, you can actually compare this data. You can aggregate it first. You can say 10 Black people were ignored, 2 white people responded to.
Yeah, those kind of numbers and that kind of public information is not rumors. It is true. It is what exactly said. Yeah. So if we're just telling people exactly just what happened, man, that is a very basic yet powerful move.
True. Yeah.
And
I
Black
like that.
folks, we ought to learn how to complain. These white people complain all day.
All the time.
I know.
About everything.
Sauce is always writing an email.
I tell you.
I get it. We come from we don't do that because we're just used to not getting our not being heard but we definitely have to step it up. We have to be in those comment section like all the white folks. What's up, man?
We complain. We just complain to each other. We don't complain to the right people.
That part,
right,
yes.
Right, that part,
yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's a good place to leave. Stop complaining to each other and complain to the people who can listen.
Yeah. The people should remember that you pay our checks. The government holds our checks.
And y'all just got a good raise, so y'all better make that
hold on a minute. We did not get a good raise. First of all, okay.
We've been reading the news.
Hold on a minute. Think about it. Okay, I just filed to raise all counselor staff. Counselor staff, chief of staffs get paid like 70 or whatever. I shortened mine and paid my people more. However, like by shorten the numbers of staff. However, counselor staff get paid to do all this running around, all these hours, and they get paid very little. We should not be egotistical and worry about what our staff is getting paid. I don't care if my chief of staff makes more money than me, but if we can make it happen, the council should vote on that, and all our staff should get a raise. That's number one. Okay. When it comes to us, though, we are not getting paid enough for this job. It's $103,000 a year. Maybe you take home 75 to 80, and then when you pay, think about it, Boston rent and your car note or whatever, your kids. There are 4 single mothers on the council, and you talk about paying bills at 70, bringing home 70 something. I know it's hard, and I'm not complaining, thank God. But this is right now in my life is the least that I've gotten paid. For the most counselors, it's like that. Because typically I would own a business and I would work a full-time job or something like that. And still, it's tough. You're living check to check, and you're working about 80 to 90 hours a week. You're not working 40 hours.
An entrepreneur too. Yeah, you're all over the place.
And let's just be clear, Counselor, that's a choice because you do have colleagues who do work on the city council as their second part-time job.
I don't know how they do it.
Work as their primary job as lawyers and other things.
I honestly don't know. Like, the job is that demanding. There's so much work to be done.
I feel like your job is more demanding because you actually care. So maybe maybe that's the difference, is that people who have the time to do two very aggressively taxing jobs are not maybe doing as much.
There you go.
So that's a good point too. Your job is a lot more demanding because you're actually doing work.
Definitely.
So I feel like that's something that maybe we should think about too when we out here voting, is who got the time to be carrying two jobs when they need to be paying attention to the constituents.
Right.
But I mean, so
you said that.
Actually, let me drop my mic.
If you work as a city councilor, your job is legislative, but also holding, the administration accountable, constituent service, and all that stuff. All of that takes a lot of what you just mentioned, right? The events, the meetings, the filing, the research, studying, meeting with people, coffee hours, the weekend dedications, and then you're talking about even night times. There's all of these civic engagement meetings. There's all of these civic groups and development meetings. So your day starts about 8 a.m. and it ends about 9 p.m. And you still get calls. It doesn't stop, right? And then there's like at least 150 emails every day coming in that you have to really, really, really address. That takes about easily 80 to 90 hours a week.
Emails ain't nothing nice, boy. Child.
But wait a minute, because Michelle, because the mayor the mayor filed to get a raise for herself, and then the code says that by law we get half. So if she would have get 230, then we would have got 115. And then when we suggested that she gets 250, because her job is easily 250. If she gets 250, we get the half, 125. Then it became, oh no, it's not fiscally responsible right now. Like, what? What? But the research shows that I have to make 180 or 90 to own a home.
Yeah.
And so not everyone is in the situation with a second, income.
Yeah, exactly.
Adult, right? Adult making income so that we can actually afford Boston. So I don't think it's a matter of like looking at counselors and saying, we're making all this money or whatever. It's a matter of looking overall that the city of Boston doesn't pay people enough.
Period.
With 20
y'all are making less than certain police officers, and y'all are making less than the chief of schools.
Talking about the police.
Right.
I mean,
so we need to refer. Can we refer a holiday? A vacation booking agent to the counselor? Because if she ain't gonna get a pay raise, we definitely need to get her on vacation.
Yeah, because the fact that you don't even know what that look like no more—that's crazy. You need to be on a beach somewhere and lay down.
Yeah.
Have a Mai Tai.
But it's really important that we talk about salaries for everybody else, because in parks, for example, majority of the people that are cleaning our parks and our streets are black and brown people, mostly black men. And they are the ones who are getting paid the least.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
They're one of the ones that are getting paid the least. Our security officers in the city getting paid the least. And everything that is black and brown are getting paid the least.
Yeah.
And so that code is about what we haven't come up to the calculations up to date for 25 years now. And so it's right. It's up for an update.
Definitely.
And so I'm looking to file that, and here's how you support is that the people that work for the city of Boston and everybody else outside need to lean into their counselors and the mayor and say, yes, the people deserve a raise.
In August, you guys went viral. You yourself, along with Julia and a couple of others, inside a city council meeting. Have you seen anything get better as far as racism? In that meeting, you were saying how it was hard to get respect as a black woman in the city council. A lot of the community doesn't. They think that it's racially divided. Do you think it has gotten any better since then?
The community responds how the community responds. You have some people that come up to you and say, you shouldn't have, the aunties, they'll tell you like, you shouldn't have cussed or whatever. And then you have people that say like, we have to stay together. They pitted us against each other, and you have that.
Murphy alone.
And, so, no, I was talking about Aaron. So I think that I think that it hasn't gotten better. It's gotten more unspoken about. Like it's a little bit dead right now, but it doesn't get better. It gets more sophisticated.
That's a good way to put it. I'm gonna shake shit up real soon. I'm gonna go to a meeting. I'm gonna be like, listen, carnival.
Yeah. We should file that.
But we'll talk. But in the sake for time, I know that you guys you've got a crazy schedule ahead of you, and I just want to respect your time. But we appreciate you coming here and speaking so candidly and openly to us about it. This obviously is not going to be the last time. I'm crazy that this is the first time that you are actually in the building, but we will be hearing more from you. Yeah, right. We did a live stream before, but we would like to
not
invite
as a counselor,
you. I
as
know,
an artist.
Yeah, no, this was. Oh yeah, you came.
And then you talked about my husband being in jail. Remember?
No, that was Henny and Hot Wings.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a little bit more loose.
That was the only time we talked.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy. No, that's crazy. No, you was here before.
I was on
when you was campaigning
with
Ruthie
with Taylor.
Oh, with Taylor, because I felt like I seen you here before. But that ends now. You will be here more often because you clearly talk to the people the way that the people want to be talked to. So we'll have you come back. We do Super Tuesdays as usual, so look out for that email. And just thank you so much for giving us your time and coming in to talk to us. I know you're on a tight schedule, so we appreciate you and the work that you do.
Thank you so much for doing this, for being so courageous and bold and having a platform.
Thank you.
To the people who are listening, to the aunties, I love you, and things are moving forward, and we're trying to do the best that we can to pay homage to all the work that you've put forth. To the young Black and brown, to the people that, even if you're not Black and brown, if you're vulnerable and you're disenfranchised and you are struggling, we hear your pain from far away. We've experienced it, and I have you in my heart. And I encourage you to get civically engaged. It matters. It's important. Please vote. Please register to vote. Get involved. Reach out to my office, tanya.anderson@boston.gov. Should you ever want a virtual meeting, it's a quick half hour, but I'm happy to speak with you about how to get engaged. Love you all. Thank you so much.
You say spell. We'll put it in the
comments. Can you give your phone number too, really quickly?
Yes.
Because not everybody's gonna be able to spell Tanya Anderson.
Yes, my office phone number is 617-635-3510.
One more time.
617-635-3510.
Are y'all putting it up?
Oh, he put it. I think I got it.
Okay.
All right, perfect. You guys have her information. You have her contact information. You have everything you need to get civically engaged. Carlos, again, thank you for your time and being here. We'll talk to you next Tuesday again, and we'll see you on Sunday. Carlos has an extended hour on Sunday. He goes from 10 to 1, so make sure you tune into that because, man, the music be hitting, all right? That's some nice old school vibes that these young people don't know nothing about, Carlos. They don't know.
Snowfall vibes.
Listen, if y'all ever want to support, reach out to the other counselors. People are working really hard. We have some real badass counselors working hard. So shout out to my colleagues, and shout out to the other ones who are still trying to figure it out how to play politics too.
You leave him alone. We gotta go.
I like that.
Spark FM Online, #1 for urban and Caribbean music. We're actually going to just end right here for everything, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for Saucy and Friends in the morning.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
This is SparkFMOnline.com. Advertise your business, brand, or music on Spark FM. Contact us at SparkFMOnline.com for more information.